The students here today are the regional champions from around Missouri. These students advanced in the competition to become Missouri's 10 regional champions, and one of them will be the 2012 Missouri champion, the 7th to represent our state. That student will receive $200, an all-expense paid trip to Washington, D.C. to compete for the national championship in April. Additionally, the Missouri Arts Council presents the state champion's family a $1,000 travel stipend to be used for travel to the national finals. The state winners' school will receive a $500 stipend for the purchase of poetry books and a trophy for the school. Look at that, you football players. The runner-up will receive $100 with $200 for his or her school library. All of the regional champions will be receiving medals to commemorate their achievements. Now, let's talk quickly about what will happen in the competition. Each competitor will recite 3 poems. The poems are from the official Poetry Out Loud anthology, which contains over 600 poems. The students in today's contest have chosen poems demonstrating their ability to memorize, analyze, interpret, and recite the poet's works. Students will introduce each poem with the title and the poet before beginning the recitation of each piece. The competition is in 3 rounds, with all students performing their first poems, moving right on to their second, and finally their third. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our judges because they are extremely important to the whole event today. A couple of them are near and dear to my heart from years of collaboration and work, and I do appreciate the depth of all the judges' expertise, and you need to know a little bit about that. Wiki Slight is president of the Missouri Center for the Book. Wave your hand, Wiki. There she is. She is also on the board and treasurer of the Missouri Humanities Council. She volunteers as a docent for the St. Louis Holocaust Museum and Learning Center. A former librarian, she has worked in special, academic, school, and public libraries. Currently, she works as a freelance fundraiser and grant writer. Betty F. Shaper, back there, is active with the Mineral Area Arts Council. Her work with the council contributed to its growth, and she became its executive director in 1989. Mrs. Shaper is dedicated to the arts in all forms and places, especially the 5-county rural area surrounding Farmington, Missouri. She is a grant writer for artistic endeavors in our state and a relentless researcher for economic and alternative arts programs. Rusty Rosenketter has been at the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education for nearly 20 years and has served in a wide variety of capacities ranging from supervising incentives for school excellence grants to developing and implementing safe school grants to working with highly qualified teachers and technology planning. Rusty holds a certificate in English education and secondary administration. She's a believer in the positive impact of programs like Poetry Out Loud in Missouri schools. Dr. Laura Brewer-Ackerman is a communication arts instructional coach for grades 6 through 12 in the Park Hill School District in the Kansas City area. Laura's background as a speech and theater teacher, combined with her history with the Missouri Fine Arts Academy, fuel her love for this endeavor. Laura coached the 2008 Missouri State Champion and is proud to serve as Missouri's teacher liaison for Poetry Out Loud. She continues to witness firsthand the enthusiasm this project inspires in classrooms among students and teachers alike. Debbie Nichols is acting today as our accuracy judge. Debbie is a freelance copy editor. Dr. Jenny Kramer serves as our prompter. Jenny is a professor emeritus from Missouri State University. The judges were provided guidelines and will be scoring each contestant in the areas of physical presence, voice, articulation, level of difficulty, evidence of understanding, appropriateness of dramatization, and overall performance. Our first student indicates the only reason she tried for this contest at first was because her friends were participating. She says as soon as she started learning her poems, a whole new world of language opened up. The first competitor is Missouri's Central Regional champion, Rose Hoyle.
Poem with One Fact by Donald Hall. At pet stores in Detroit, you can buy frozen rats for 75 cents a piece to feed your pet boa constrictor back home in Grosse Pointe or in Grosse Pointe Park, while the free nation of rats in Detroit emerges from alleys behind pet shops, from cellars and junked cars, and gathers to flow at twilight like a river, the color of pavement, and crawls over bedrooms and groceries and through broken school windows to eat the crayon from drawings of rats. And no one in Detroit understands how rats are delicious in Dearborn. If only we could communicate, if only the boa constrictors of Southfield would slither down I-94, turn north on the Lodge Expressway, and head for 8th Street to eat out for a change. Instead, tomorrow, a man from Birmingham enters a pet shop in Detroit to buy a frozen German Shepherd for $6.50 to feed to his pet cheetah guarding the compound at home. Oh, they arrive all day in their locked cars, buying schoolyards, bridges, buses, churches, and ethnic festivals. They buy a frozen Texaco station for $84.50 to feed to an imported London taxi in Huntington Woods. They buy Tiger Stadium, frozen, to feed to the Little League in Grosse Isle. They bring everything home, frozen solid as pig iron, to the 6-car garages of Harper Woods, Grosse Pointe Woods, Farmington, Grosse Pointe Farms, Troy, and Grosse Arbor. And they ingest everything and fall asleep and lie coiled in the sun while the city thaws in the stomach and slides to the small intestine, where enzymes break down molecules of protein to amino acids which enter the cold bloodstream.
Our next champion respects the poet's ability to take the deepest of human observations and put them into specific, beautiful verses. She became involved in this project this year when her school held its annual building competition, giving students a chance to experience this powerful form of expression. Although she was motivated by the opportunity to be a part of the artistic experience, she admits that it didn't hurt that they offered some nice gift cards as incentives for the winners. This is Kansas City North's regional champion, Mariah Studebaker.
The Destruction of Sennacherib by Lord George Gordon Byron. The Assyrian came down like a wolf on the fold, and his cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold, and the sheen of their spears was like stars on the sea when the blue wave rolls nightly on deep Galilee. Like the leaves of the forest when summer is green, that host with their banners at sunset were seen. Like the leaves of the forest when autumn hath blown, that host on the morrow lay withered and strown. For the angel of death spread his wings on the blast, and he breathed in the face of the foe as he passed. And the eyes of the sleepers waxed deadly and chill, and their hearts but once heaved, and forever grew still. And there lay the steed, with his nostril all wide, but through it there rolled not the breath of his pride, and the foam of his gasping lay white on the turf, and cold as the spray of the rock-beating surf. And there lay the rider, distorted and pale, with the dew on his brow and the rust on his mail. And the tents were all silent, the banners alone, the lances unlifted, the trumpets unblown. And the widows of Asher are loud in their wail, and the idols are broke in the temple of Baal. And the might of the Gentile, unsmoked by the sword, hath melted like snow in the glance of the Lord.
Our next performer first experienced poetry out loud her freshman year when her English teacher presented it as an assignment. She has competed in the school contest each year since then and says poetry is a big part of her life. She competes in poetry reading at speech and debate competitions, has performed recitations at church, and hopes to continue performing poetry while in college. The Kansas City South Regional Champion is Bailey Everhart.
Bilingual, bilingüe, parina pi espiat. My father liked them separate. One there, one here. Allá y aquí. As if aware that words might cut into his daughter's heart, el corazón, and lock the alien part to what he was. His memory, his name, su nombre, with a key he could not claim. English outside this door, Spanish inside, he said, y basta. But who can divide the world, the word, mundo y palabra, from any child? I knew how to be dumb and stubborn, testaruda. Late in bed, I hoarded secret syllables I read until my tongue, mi lengua, learned to run where his stumbled. And still, the heart was one. I like to think he knew that. Even when proud, orgulloso of his daughter's pen, he stood outside mis versos, half in fear of words he loved but wanted not to hear.
The next contestant heard about this project from a teacher and was instantly intrigued because of a love of performance. This student says the effort has brought positive academic recognition as well as self-pride. Overall, it's just been a rewarding opportunity to be part of something truly enjoyable, and the success is just an added bonus. Here is the Northeast Missouri Regional Champion, Shade Lay.
Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mummy raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the Maxom foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And, as if in uffish thought he stood, that Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went stick-a-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, Callooh, Calais! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mummy rats outgrabe. Thank you.
The Northwest Regional Champion has participated in classroom contests since his freshman year of high school, as it was a literature class assignment every year. This is the first year he's advanced to the school-wide level and then, obviously, on to win at the regional level. He says he's glad to have competed because it earned him a good grade on the class assignment, as well as notoriety from school, a trophy, and a chance to do something that few other students get to do. With his first recitation, this is Nick Eldridge.
Father, by Edgar Albert Guest. My father knows the proper way the nation should be run. He tells us children every day just what should now be done. He knows the way to fix the trusts. He has a simple plan, but if the furnace needs repairs, we have to hire a man. My father, in a day or two, could land big thieves in jail. There's nothing that he cannot do. He knows no word like fail. Our confidence he would restore. Of that there is no doubt, but if there is a chair to mend, we have to send it out. All public questions that arise, he settles on the spot. He waits not till the tumult dies, but grabs it while it's hot. In matters of finance, he can tell Congress what to do, but, oh, he finds it hard to meet his bills as they fall due. It almost makes him sick to read the things lawmakers say. Why, Father's just the man they need. He never goes astray. All wars he'd very quickly end, as fast as I can write it. But when a neighbor starts a fuss, 'tis mother has to fight it. In conversation, Father can do many wondrous things. He's built upon a wiser plan than presidents or kings. He knows the ins and outs of each and every deep transaction. We look to him for theories, but look to Ma for action.
Throughout this school year, the nation was alive with poetry recitation, and these students are living proof. Among the students who participated in a Poetry Out Loud event in classrooms and schools throughout the United States, these students represent over 2,200 schools and over 5,000 teachers. Our next student says she's always been attracted to poetry, even before high school. She believes poetry is a way of life and says when she reads or writes poetry, she escapes into the shoes of the speaker of the poem. Her favorite poets are those she finds most relatable. Here's the Southeast Region champion, Mariah Griggs.
In the Desert by Stephen Crane. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter, bitter," he answered. "But I like it, because it is bitter and because it is my heart."
It's hoped that this program can help bring poetry alive in classrooms across the country. It certainly has in Missouri. In fact, Missouri consistently ranks in the upper 10 to 15% in the nation in the number of schools participating in local competitions. It has multiple benefits for all students. For instance, our next competitor says thanks to this contest, his third quarter grade in college English is sitting pretty. He memorized a poem for 25 bonus points for class, and the result was a regional championship. The next recitation is by the Southwest Regional Champion, Cameron Locke.
There's Been a Death in the Opposite House by Emily Dickinson. There's been a death in the opposite house as lately as today. I know it by the numb look such houses have always. The neighbors rustle in and out. The doctor drives away. A window opens like a pod, abrupt, mechanically. Somebody flings a mattress out. The children hurry by. They wonder if it died on that. I used to when a boy. The minister goes stiffly in as if the house were his, and he owned all the mourners now and the little boys besides. And then the milliner and the man of the appalling trade to take the measure of the house. There'll be that dark parade of tassels and of coaches soon. It's easy as a sign, the intuition of the news in just a country town.
Students have a wide variety of poems from which to choose, selecting from an online resource complete with examples of exemplary recitations and a section on poetic form and terms. Poems that have been used frequently in national competition are retired for a few years to refresh the anthology selections. This way, the program can highlight new poems for students and their audiences. If you haven't done so already, be sure to check out the website, poetryoutloud.com. The next gentleman prefers to be called Will, and so here he is, St. Charles Regional Champion Will Edwards.
Mid-So-Cameen by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Half my life is gone, and I have let the years slip from me, and have not fulfilled the aspiration of my youth to build some tower of song with lofty parapet. Not indolence nor pleasure nor the frets of restless passions that would not be stilled, but sorrow and the care that almost killed kept me from what I may accomplish yet. Though halfway up the hill I see the past, lying beneath me with its sounds and sights, a city in the twilight dim and vast with smoking roofs, soft bells, and gleaming lights. and hear above me on the autumnal blast the cataract of death, far thundering from the heights. Thank you.
Although the scholarship money and a free trip are great, this contest is successful in even more meaningful ways. It's best summed up by a state champion at the national finals in a recent year. Honestly, what I loved so much about Poetry Out Loud and still cherish is the connection it brought me to the arts and those who value it as I do. I earned this chance to meet students who had come together for the appreciation of poetry. I realize that the arts are perhaps the most noble and wonderful universal influence that humanity shares. The St. Louis Regional Champion is Terry Lee Watkins Jr.
The Man with the Hoe by Edwin Markham. God made man in his own image. In the image of God made he him. Genesis. Bowed by the weight of centuries, he leans upon his hoe and gazes on the ground. The emptiness of ages in his face, and on his back, the burden of the world. Who made him dead to rapture and despair? A thing that grieves not and that never hopes. Stolid and stunned, a brother to the ox. Who loosened and let down this brutal jaw? Whose was the hand that slanted back this brow? Whose breath blew out the light within this brain? Is this the thing the Lord God made and gave? To have dominion over sea and land, to trace the stars and search the heavens for power, to feel the passion of eternity. Is this the dream he dreamed, who shaped the suns and marked their ways upon the ancient deep, down all the stretch of hell to its last gulf? There is no shape more terrible than this. More tongued with center of the world's blind greed, more filled with signs and portents for the soul, more fraught with danger to the universe. What gulfs between him and the seraphim, slave of the wheel of labor? What to him are Plato and the swing of Pleiades? What the long reaches of the peaks of song, the rift of dawn, the reddening of the rose? Through this dread shape, the suffering ages look. Time's tragedy is in that aching stoop. Through this dread shape, humanity betrayed, plundered, profaned, and disinherited. Cries protest to the judges of the world, a protest that is also prophecy. O masters, lords, and rulers in all lands, is this the handiwork you give to God? This monstrous thing, distorted and soul-quenched. How will you ever straighten up this shape? Touch it again with immortality, give back the upward looking and the light, rebuild in it the music and the dream. Make right the immemorial infamies, perfidious wrongs, medicable woes. O masters, lords, and rulers in all lands, how will the future reckon with this man? How answer his brute question in that hour when whirlwinds of rebellion shake the world? How will it be with kingdoms and with kings, with those who shaped him to the thing he is? When this dumb terror shall reply to God after the silence of the centuries.
Poetry hasn't been in our next competitor's life for too long, but performing isn't new to her, as she's been in theater productions since she was very young. She heard about the contest from a teacher and thought that it might be something fun to do. She's glad she competed because it helped her practice confidence, she says, but also because it introduced her to a new form of art. This is the St. Louis County regional champion, Courtney Jonas.
The Arrow and the Song by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow it in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow still unbroke, and the song, from beginning to end, I found again in the heart of a friend.